a part of our conversations over the last bit of time have to do with this holy feminine, with this goddess energy, right? And there, I know that that's my heart's devotion, and you have had so many experiences lately of that energy moving through you and showing up in the world, and to the extent that you can share here on the cameras, aware that there's not everything that can be shared, but what can you tell us about this movement?
So because I was a survivor and I disconnected from my body, I used to hide my femininity. I wore sports bras up until a couple years ago. My whole entire life, my poor boobs were in sports bras, being squished and pushed down because I didn't want to attract attention to myself. Because when I was a young girl, I thought it was my femininity that had attracted men, and I didn't want that. And so I lived in this world where I was a tomboy. And still, to an extent, I still am, because I think that's just kind of, I feel like I could go into any space and identify with anybody and feel comfortable, but I hid who I was as a woman. Big earrings and hats and hoodies and t-shirts and sneakers, and I never wore dresses. I didn't want to highlight any shape, and the more that I ate, the more I was able to hide behind my body. It was beautiful. It was so safe and so comfortable until it wasn't safe and comfortable anymore.
Gotcha.
And so once I had my daughter, there was something so sacred about being a mom and nursing, that I started to really understand the value that a woman brings. And so when I started to do some of the healing recently, it was just beautiful. It's just beautiful the way that we create food in our bodies to sustain and nurture our kids. It's beautiful the way our hips are they're just so... We're so shapely, and so it's just beautiful the way that our breasts just ride, the lips. There's something so soft and sensual about a woman that I wanted to know her. I wanted to know her, and I needed to get to know me again. I had disconnected from my body, but I needed to understand what it meant to be a woman again, to be feminine. And so I would sit in a room and I'd meditate, and the body that I had created, my body that carried so much pain, the body that I overburdened for so many years, I was starting to love her again. And what does that look like, right? Because I hadn't done it forever. So I would just rub her. I just started by rubbing my legs and just starting to get to know her again and really just embracing her. And in many ways, it's almost like an act of rebellion, because society tells you that the larger frame is not pretty, it's not sexy, it's not nice, it's fat and it's sloppy. And I'm like, no. And there have been times like during this journey where I look in the mirror and I've looked at myself naked in the mirror and I'm like, I really have damaged my body. And I guess, yeah, if you have that perspective, I have damaged my body, but my body tells a story. Every ounce of fat and everything that sags and hangs, all of it is a story of survivorship. It's a story of perseverance and love and holding space for so many people. So that was a couple months ago. Since then, I look in the mirror and I love me. I love me. Every little hole of my cellulite, every ounce of it, I love it. I love my soft, beautiful, big body. And I feel like it's my life's calling to encourage other women and other females, especially young girls. I'm raising a daughter here, to encourage their bodies and not allow what other people are forcing onto them to affect them. And so whenever I'm allowed to show up to these spaces, and I'm invited to a lot of spaces wearing my political hat, I always make sure to bring spirit. I always make sure to bring the femininity and make sure that we're always lifting the woman and also like lifting our men. Because I don't think that one can exist without the other. And I know you and I have had conversations about this, but I just really feel like we're in it together, and we need to lift each other. So yes, so coming into my own has been the most magical experience of my life, and embracing me and getting to a path of self-love. And when you love yourself, you love others. You know, you taught me that, right? It's like, you know, it just regenerates, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful flow, and I'm just so grateful to be here.
Woo. Wow, you're bowling me over with this beauty and this grace. It really is one of the most wonderful things to witness, and I just thank you for the courage and for the clarity with which you speak of it. We are in community, we live in community, and so I see the way your light and your realization lights people up, right? You know, we often talk about that, how our own, what we just said, our own kind of loving ourselves and knowing ourselves and being free actually liberates others in a powerful way. And I want to give you that feedback. Like, I see the way, both on social media and in space, the way you are with yourself and the way you handle your journey is it's unlocking.
Thank you.
It's unlocking beautiful things in others, and I'm just deeply, deeply, deeply grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, G.
Yeah, it's really, truly beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm just curious here. We talked about AOC and Ayana and kind of that zeitgeist, and Adrienne Murray Brown wrote Pleasure Activism, and it seems again like there's like you all are tapping into. I also interviewed Samantha here, and she talks a lot about pleasure, right? And so there seems to be a movement, and that is emergent. It's not like everybody read Adrienne's book and now everybody's walking up to it, right? It's like Adrienne speaking to a voice, to a spirit that is, right? And you're speaking, because I know Samantha hasn't finished that book. I don't know that you have.
I haven't read it.
Right, and so what do you think that's about? Like, what's happening? And
I think it's just, I don't know. I don't know what the book is about, but I'm assuming, judging by the way you just brought it in and the title of the name, that it has to do with showing up, women, unapologetically, embracing who we are, what we want, what we like, and no longer having to internalize the suppression that comes in from the outside by probably men that felt uncomfortable with empowered women. And so, so I'm assuming that it just means the building of the feminine.
Right where we need her. Right where we need her.
Yeah.
I want to take even a longer pause here and say, I'm speaking to myself right now in some ways.
Should I leave?
No, you can witness me if you don't mind. But it's so I have frustrations with our space, and by our space I mean the social movement spaces, right? I'm a facilitator, and this stuff I was talking about, the role of the anger, the centering of victimhood, right? What I perceive as people wanting to more rock their trauma than work through it, right? It becomes part of your identity, something that you wield to like kind of have a power in the room.
Yes.
So all of that tends to be, it's frustrating to me. It makes me sad. It makes me want to change where I work. And I just want to say that as I hear you speak, as I see these other patterns, right? I think it's important for me to witness, to pay attention. Where's my attention, right? This is also happening. Here you are, talking about the Holy Feminine. Here, sitting on this chair, was Samantha a little while back talking about it. Here is, I went to a convening on bringing together people that receive a fellowship, a racial justice fellowship, and the book Pleasure Activism was in their tote bags, right? So it's almost like I need to tell myself to notice that as frustrating as some of this stuff is, there's this other thing that is co-arising and that I'm witnessing right now, right? And that is part of an intelligence that is bigger than it, right? That somehow people that are waking up are tapping into this energy that is speaking forward. And I just needed to, in some way, say that to myself and thank you for bringing it in and embodying it so powerfully.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.